Hello there, and you are tuned to Damn Good Coffee Time today on the 19th of August 2023. And today you have me, James, aka, well, not aka anything, but I am on the video today. So today I'm joined by Johnny, who's just coming back in 1 second after he's got himself a slice of cherry pie and probably a flask of the finest 48-hour blend for an excursion into the woods, into the night even. And we are looking at a game, coincidentally, called Into the Night, which is I think you could definitely call it a Twin Peaks game, but it is unofficial. So it's made by, let me just check, who is it made by? Well, anyway, you can find out information from it better than I would be able to give through just Googling new Twin Peaks game Into the Night. It was released on the 15th of August by I don't know what the actual name, they've called themselves the Blue Rose Team. It's on itch, which is basically well, I don't know what itch is, to be honest. It's just a hosting site, I think, for well, maybe Johnny would know better than me, but it's, if you go to the link I'm giving now in the chat, you can find the game to download on there. So Twin Peaks Into the Night game by the Blue Rose Team, and it's on .itch.io. On there, you have to go into the scroll down to where it says beneath how to play, etc. Just there's a red download for the zip there, 540 millibytes or megabytes. I don't know which one it is. That's for Windows, though. It's not actually available on anything but Windows at the moment. And you can see a lot of different screenshots on this page as well, which I'll just bring up on the screen now for you so you can have a look. Partly because I can't figure out how to do it. I won't start actually playing the game live now, but I think it's best for people to just play it themselves anyway, rather than discover it themselves, rather than being given the whole thing kind of live on a video. It's only, I think, about half an hour to play through it if you this demo, So it starts off with a probably 5 to 10 minutes prologue section as such, which is basically shots from the show itself, from ones which you may very easily predict, like the opening shots of the show itself, the opening titles, the Laura storyline, basically from the pilot and the first season mainly. And then it does have a few shots from the second season, I think, like Wyndham's cabin, for instance, in the woods. mainly things from the first season, as far as I remember. But I don't want to go into too much of a spoilerific description of the whole thing, really. So yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend it to anybody who's might be watching out there. All right, here's Johnny now. He's back.
Hey James, sorry I had to.
Hi, I've started with sort of just an explanation of where you can download the game and everything now. So
Okay, very cool.
I don't think it's possible to sort of put it on the actual screen, the game, but I think it's best not to really, to be fair to the developers and things. In a way, it's just like that would discourage people from downloading it, and that's what they want. So
yeah, and experiencing it for themselves.
I think the first part of it and everything, which I was just going into, is worth downloading just for that. Really, I think it's very well done, professionally sort of edited, and strangely, it has images from the first season, mainly concerning the Laura mystery, like Dr. Jacoby visiting the graveyard, shots of Laura, obviously, and things like this. But
yeah,
it does have a shot. There's a shot of Wyndham's cabin in there, so that's second season. There's a few things, in there that are notable, and I think especially in the gameplay is what I was getting to, especially before we were just live now. There's when you go and actually, when you were playing it, did you go up and actually try and talk to any of the people in the?
Yeah, I make it a rule, like whenever I play any type of game, and I advise anybody else to explore, talk to everybody. It's always fun to see the dialogue and what they tell you. Sometimes it's needed too to progress the level. But really good, a lot of detail. I like it because each character will have the little picture, and it'll talk just like how they would say their dialogue. Even have a snippet of their voice in the beginning. It's kind of cool.
Did you notice that you went and spoke to a nurse standing by, and she was actually the nurse from the Missing Pieces, who's not really in the show. She's the one who stole the ring.
Oh,
which is quite, the image that comes up of her is her holding the ring.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, or put it on, and she looks in the mirror with it, which is, I think the number of people who look in mirrors in Twin Peaks is always significant.
Yeah, that's a theme. Yeah, very much.
I mean, she could easily have featured within The Return. I think that.
Oh yeah.
But obviously, there's only something she could have put in there, but she could have easily have been in it, I think. But that she was associated with Annie, so that's a whole separate side of things. But also, when you went up and spoke to different people, like one of the images that came up for someone, it was actually like the actress Faye Dunaway.
I swear I saw that famous British actor from James Bond for one of the pictures. He was a nurse. Donald Pleasance. They used his picture for one of the nurses.
Well, he's more well known for Halloween, surely.
Yeah. Well, he's done in a bunch of B movies, which is hilarious. Yeah. I've been watching a few of them with him.
Yeah, he's there as well. And then also, when Cooper goes to talk to Harry when they first meet, he talks about it being something like A Hard Day's Night, which is obviously a reference to
the Beatles, right?
The Beatles, the song A Hard Day's Night, and a film as well. A film that was directed by Richard Lester, was very much known for being a part of that whole thing that you're really referring to, actually, with the the swinging 60s, like when the Britain was in its prime, especially culturally. I mean, I don't think, like, for instance, for my dad, like, he would go out and it would be like literally the swinging 60s in Derbyshire. I mean, they used to have coffee bars and things, with everyone dancing down the street like Austin Powers. But it was, he would listen to things like, there'd be Donovan and the Beatles, obviously. So there's a lot of things to listen to.
True.
And
I
You
just
know,
want to say, James. Sorry to cut you off because you mentioned the nurse, and I just remembered.
yeah,
She eventually tells you go into the room with Ronette, and when you enter the room, I don't have you gone that far, James, into the room with Ronette.
yeah. I was in the Ronette. I went in Ronette.
Did you try? Did you go to the
What wrote it?
TV? Did you click on the TV there?
No, no.
Okay. I advise you to do that because it's kind of cool. They have full uncut the entire series of Invitation to Love, and it's kind of cool because you get to see it fully played out more obviously than what you saw on the show.
Well, it's just this kind of thing. It's like it doesn't make any sense, you see, because what I'm saying is that this game has been approved through Twin Peaks Productions, etc. They've given it like a thumbs up, as in, yes, you can do this, yes, you can do that, but don't sell it for any money. But we're basically kind of giving you creative control pretty much. But the thing is, no individual, totally independent like production company, whether they're games or films or whatever, are going to include the entirety of Invitation to Love within the game and the amount of music in this. So what I'm saying is it's like I would go so far as to say that this is actually semi-official, basically. It's
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I think there have been other things like that song by 88 Ravens called Judy. I think that was, I don't think Lynch went into a studio somewhere with them and kind of said, these are the lyrics, like, because the lyrics are so much just basically dialogue from Fire Walk With Me, you know, as in, I mean, the whole thing of saying it Jowday as well, he's not Judy, is it? That's something different for one thing. I take that as being like a completely different thing. The Jowday thing is like this understanding of evil or something. Evil in the world, like, but it's made it into this kind of crazy theory that Gordon Cole goes into at the end of The Return, and then it feels like oddly unsatisfying, and you're just like, what? Like, this is just too much exposition for Twin Peaks. It's just.
I just want to go back to your earlier, because before we went on, we were talking about a meta, like the meta way of how Lynch can bring things out, or he could have done that, or could do that, or has done that. What I found really meta is in the Invitations to Love, they have a guy named Montana. He's wearing a headband. He looks like Mr. C. He ends up getting shot twice in the stomach. And I found that really interesting. And there's a storyline going, because I watched the whole thing.
Montana is, Missoula, Montana, where it's interesting that, you're going back to Missoula, Montana, but in the second season, Lynch said, no, I don't want any more Invitation to Love in it, because maybe he thought, that's enough. Like, we've had enough up to the first season. Like, now, in a way, it's going to get in the way. Like, we can't have shots of Invitation to Love and then it getting really serious where it's to do with Cooper discovering who the murderer is or something. Maybe,
But what I found was interesting, James, is because the storyline in there, because I watched the story, like, I followed the storyline. There is an actress who plays two roles. One, a rich.
I think Voltaire actually had an early role in that.
There's a girl who's looking to take out somebody for their money, and then she plays another character, a blonde girl, who's equally good, trying to help this one individual who's really rich. Basically, just rich guy leaving a will, and they're trying to fight for it. So Montana and the bad version of her are trying to get this money from a will. The good girl and this guy who wears glasses. I don't know what he fits into the story.
That's Voltaire.
That's Voltaire. Okay, that guy, he gets caught up in it. He's the one that ends up shooting Montana and saving the day and saving this rich man and his will and everything.
Yeah, and that's a typical. Voltaire would have demanded that role because he says, I'm the handsome guy in this who saves the day, and everyone on set was like, "What?" I don't. He's more like Rick Moranis in Ghostbusters or something, but. Voltaire's like, no, I am an alpha male, okay? And so obviously he got that role through probably just connections and, also family connections, etc. Like Jaden Smith when he was in that film After Earth.
Yes.
Dad, this is a great film, isn't it? Yes, it is, son. It's a great film. We're making history here.
Yeah.
The history of making people not go to theaters
ever again. Yeah.
Yeah, like after that, they're like, I'm not speaking to you. Like, my dad was a terrible father. What? Really? No. Well, he made me be in After Earth. Come on.
Mm.
No, but to be serious about this whole thing, I mean,
Oh
the
god.
game is worth playing, definitely. And I think,
Definitely. Even if you're not a fan, like see, this is how good the game is. Even if you've never even heard of Twin Peaks, this would be a great introduction to the story. Because when I play this type of game, I'm thinking in my mind, this is making me want to go back and revisit the series because this is like
I
so
think that's the
immersive.
idea, actually, especially
And,
with the,
and that's the key to a good game, James. When you're both
or at least
both
part of the end idea.
Mhm.
You know, it's
When
not
you're both
supposed to
immersive
be.
and you can bring in new people.
It's not supposed to be a promotion of Twin Peaks, but I
Very
think it's
good one.
interesting. I definitely think that there've been things out there, right, which have basically been, you know, they may have been worked on in tandem with people like Lynch mainly, and Sabrina as well, and whoever else.
Mhm.
But they just sort of said, well, we can't have this now as part of the 2020 celebration, so it's just sort of there now. Like,
Mhm.
there are other things, and I think that this is just my feeling anyway. I think that they wanted to have things out there, and then it seemed like it was connected to Twin Peaks, but people can't quite figure out whether it is. Like that Judy song, 88 Ravens. I feel like that's so well done that it's impossible that Lynch hasn't somehow.
Mhm.
I'm not saying he wrote it or anything like that, but I think he's overseen it in some sense. And because if you go to the 88 Ravens account, for instance, on Twitter, there's all these entries which are just too well done
Mhm.
to be not, if you investigate it, you'll see what I mean. I'll just leave it up to people.
Okay.
Stuff about, if I eat this kind of food every day, then I know I'll be okay about cherry pie and this kind of thing. It's just, it feels like literally a continuation of Twin Peaks. And
That sounded like great song lyrics. If I eat a cherry pie every day, I'll feel okay or something.
no, that's not the song lyric. That's
It sounds
that's a
like it.
Twitter. But the song itself, I can play
Mm.
it now if you want to listen to it. But because I mean, I mention these things and people never really seem to pick up on them. It's almost like,
Well, I'm sure people. You never know. There could be the odd person.
not many, but I'm talking
Mm.
about people on this account, on this video, for instance.
Mhm.
Like they're almost out there, but in a kind of not subliminal, but people just don't pay attention that much. I think you can do this online. Like, for instance, I put out videos and maybe say, I don't know, 50 people might watch a video, but then, in the middle of it, I could just announce that there's going to be more Twin Peaks. And people are like, oh, okay, right. That's just James. He's joking. He's just whatever, he's crazy or something. I don't know. But no, I mean, they might think, well, he's just making a joke. Although I don't really joke about things like that. I mean,
No, people can tell when you're serious or when you go off into a tandem if you're typical human.
well, they can't always. They can't. Like, for instance, Monkey Island's just put Lynch got the mirror idea from a Nightmare on Elm Street 3D.
Well,
and Dream
everybody
Warriors,
knows that. That's typical knowledge, James.
But that's not.
I know.
That's not typical knowledge. That's bullshit.
I know.
I mean, Monkey Island is basically. I mean, the thing with Monkey Island is they're taking us on a joyride to Queer Street, and I don't want to go that way. It's like I don't think that Lynch is directly inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. That is it there in the film where someone looks into the mirror and there's like maybe a doppelganger or whatever? Okay, yes, but that doesn't mean that they're like Lynch is like Rennie Harlin. Thank you for this, because you go back in history and
he was influenced, James, by Something Boiled, Something Blue. We all know that. There's a guy in there who is fully in denim.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, again, this is history, James. You gotta.
It's
a movie. It's a movie came out in like '89 or something, and I just saw the snippets of it. But it looked like there was a character all in denim, and he's going after a bride who's blonde and dressed in white. But I don't know the synopsis of the movie. That's just
Something borrowed, something blue.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it sounds a bit like B movie or something type territory, but no, I think like with the mirror imagery and the backwards imagery and things like this, it's not actually stemming so much from 80s films and things like that as films Lynch would have seen when he was at film school and stuff, like Orphe, which is the story of Orpheus, which was, and I mean that literally has the zigzag flooring, and then someone puts these gloves on backwards, and then they go through a mirror in it and things like that. So it's, it even has that kind of ringing noise that occurs when we first see the Black Lodge scene, which was shot for the European extended cut, where it's sort of like this ringing noise. It's sort of, and I can't do it. It's it's like a chime noise, not electrical or anything. It's like when Michael Jackson is rubbing his hands together, palms, and everything, and it's like it sort of makes this. It's not as if the two things are directly linked necessarily, but they are, obviously in that shot. And what am I talking about? Obviously they're linked, but it's. I mean, it's repeated again, basically in the second episode dream sequence, which is
great. I like that.
Starts off with the the sort of neurons firing type of thing, which Cooper has directly referred to.
I just want to say my favorite of all the dream sequences is the first one in the first season. It's so incredible. Like you get sucked into the TV almost. It's just amazing. I'll never forget the first time I saw that, and I still feel that experience. Because I think
it's almost overlooked by
yeah.
If you go back and watch it, it's surprising just how I don't know, like how dark Twin Peaks could be at times, and then also how
what's that sound?
Lighter. I don't know. That's just someone skateboarding outside my.
Like someone was like a classic wheelbarrow or something. I don't know.
No, it's Voltaire.
The horse and cart
doing stunts. The other day, Voltaire ended up like flying off his skateboard and landing in a bush.
But they said he did one of the most unique moves, like a 720 something or other. So it was all good.
Yeah, his buddy was.
Who's his buddy now?
Filming him on a camera, a digital camera that they've got.
I'm picturing like Tarantino for some reason. He's his buddy.
No, I was just saying, I was shouting outside the window. Would you mind just shut up, please?
Would you
also
mind
going somewhere else? Yeah. This is not a suitable area
you must
for
have just went off.
skateboarding.
There must have been a lot of expletives, a lot of slang we wouldn't recognize here on this side.
Well, no, Voltaire said, he says, I'm going to come up there and shove this skateboard up your ass.
Oh.
I was like, what? He says, I'm going to come down there and break it in half.
What would be the most something in your town someone would say that, like a dialogue? Like, say, if you were to transform Voltaire into a literal British person, what would he say in that moment that we wouldn't understand, but he would go off, but you would understand, Is there something that... Is there any type of word?
He'd say something like, "All right, then, if he's a Londoner, all right, let me in there. I'm going to buzz up. You let me in, and I'm going to smash this over your naked ass, and then we're going to get in the shower together.
Oh my god!
Soap each other up.
Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah, if something happens, it happens. All right.
That's a little too on the nose.
I'm not actually into that kind of stuff. Thank you.
If something happens,
you will be.
If something happens, it happens.
No, that's what Voltaire's actually like. Monkey Island, though. How are you doing? And
thank you for joining us this morning.
Can I just say, Monkey Island, do you think that I should still watch that film that you've recommended? The one.
Which one?
I don't know if it was actually Monkey Island. I'm just sort of joking a little bit. Like it was about
probably Davern.
Oh, please don't mention Davern.
Sorry, I know he's the linchpin.
I mean, some people have described Davern as being vindictive, and I would agree. Really, I think it's just.
He had a breakthrough last week. You got him to have a one positive moment. You were
that's it.
You kept your composure, but I give you credit because you dealt with him for years. I haven't even.
No, I know that's at that point.
You had composure. I
thought I'm just blocking because it's just too stupid, And also, if Cameron comes on these videos and stuff like that, the last thing I need is Davern being in there. He only messages me only to try and talk about Cameron. So I'm like, well, forget about that. It's just
like I said in the past, he can give good random movie suggestions if that's all he would focus
on. Anyone can do that.
I know, but like instead of focusing on what I'm saying, the other stuff, at least.
Yeah, all right, but it's not really that's like saying, well, he did well because he came to school on every day.
Yeah, A for participation.
I mean, okay, Davin, you've done well to
Some people don't
attend
show
every
up.
video we've done and come in every time and claim Twin Peaks season 3 is shit. I mean, that is not. It's just spreading a kind of
Okay, so is
virus,
he a super
virus
fan
of the mind.
Is he? Has he ever said he's a super fan of one or two? Has he ever claimed one or the other?
No, I mean, Johnny, I just want to move on from this now.
Sorry,
please.
okay, sorry. I was just
honestly, it's not funny when he's like, basically, he'll just send me messages saying, "Oh, Cameron's trying to do more Queen of Hearts now," like, and then he'll put hashtag free the Cloutier. Seriously, stop laughing about all this now.
Sorry.
It's not funny.
Why free the Cloutier? What is that? What the fuck?
All right, just calm down. Bloody hell, man.
Free the Cloutier.
What's going on? Like, I just don't want to talk about this kind of thing now, really, because Davin is basically a person who liked it when me and Cameron used to do videos and things, but then after that, he just became sort of
I never saw those days. I was a fan post
nasty, you know.
Yeah.
And he's joked to me about very serious topics, which I don't want to go into.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you.
You know, said has Cameron committed suicide? This kind of
giving you, I see. I don't know all that dark side of it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's not dark side. That's just, I mean, that's somebody who's like got serious problems, and he should go and see like somebody who can help him or something, because Davin told me that he himself had tried to commit suicide 3 times when he was found as such, and that he has BPD. You know what that is, surely, borderline personality disorder, which is obviously, I'm sure whether it's kind of 100% true or not, it's pretty much in the right area, because judging by his behavior, he's all about like the emotional impact he can create, on others. And I'm not in it for that, I'm not in it to go online and upset people. That's not what I try and do. It's
Are you being abducted by aliens, James?
What do you mean?
That sound?
All right, bloody hell, man! This is a serious topic.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
it's loud.
No, it's somebody. Is it loud? It's somebody. I'll just go and close my window. Actually,
my apologies to everybody. I didn't know it would throw James off into a tangent by my Davin.
Well, yeah. Anyway, moving on. I think that it is a guy who's been now mowing his lawn repeatedly over the last week. He's like from Italian.
Italians love to mow their lawn. My dad does it all the time. I'm thinking in my head, just let it grow. I love when grass just grows. I'm not saying.
No, but I mean, I remember I once spoke to this woman, and I think afterwards she might have felt like a bit upset because I compared her family. I said that they're like Stacey's in EastEnders, where there's like they're living in a house, and the funny thing in the soap is it's sort of a little bit of a joke is that there's too many people living in a house, because it's too. It doesn't seem possible that you could accommodate that many people in that house, but it's sort of like part of the show's, you have to accept it because it's a soap opera, isn't it? But I do think that lack of realism is kind of avoidable and not a good thing necessarily. It's supposed to be reflective of reality, but I mentioned that to her, and she said something about, sometimes it's quite enjoyable. It's good, when you've got a lot of people in the house. And I was just thinking to myself, yeah,
no,
like everything becomes a meme. Like, yeah. but is it?
I know.
Like, you just reacting like that. But you think you can't, and I may have offended her, I think. But on the other hand, I have.
Well, you do that sometimes, without recognizing it. But
well, everyone does. Everyone does.
You should be more self-aware of it. If I offend somebody,
no, Johnny, stop. Right. Everybody. If you interact with other people, you're bound to upset somebody at some point. However, the reaction to somebody upsetting you, don't ring them up in the middle of the night, calling them names. Don't go and smash their door down. Don't do anything like.
No.
I mean, unless they've murdered somebody in your family, then maybe go and do something. But on the other hand, you'll probably end up in jail. So
yeah. Keep it to the
But I
third.
think, but like, say somebody's mowing their lawn, try and not react instantaneously to it. Like, I think I've improved my ability to. I can shut out sounds a bit more than I used to, whereas in the past I used to be very
Yeah, but
jumpy.
you kind of created that own. That's a meme of this show. Is
No, but I
that
didn't create it
sound.
like in knowledgibly. Like
No.
you've
Yeah.
got to bear in mind, like at Christmas and stuff like that, and over that
Mhm.
period, like there was some serious stuff going on with family where someone
Mhm.
was in hospital and all that, and it kind of
Yeah.
has this impact where you can be jumpy and things like this, can't you?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
not
agree.
so I don't think like in just a general conversation,
I
especially when you
see. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
with strangers and things, you shouldn't be constantly looking over your shoulder and thinking, "Oh, I
No.
said that. I said this."
Mhm.
You see, I mean, arguably, I would say to some degree that people have become overly sort of judging others on what they say. Like whether they treat like day-to-day discussion almost as if it's online, for instance, because you're
Yeah.
walking down the street and people are like looking at their phones like this. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like,
Like zombies. Almost. It's like something out of.
yeah, well, it's like it's not very hard to get sort of into this mindset where you think, was
The John
somebody
Carpenter
offending
movie.
me? Was I offending them? And it's at the end of the day, who cares? It's just
Yeah, I'm way past that. I just try to just be myself, and if you're accepted, you're accepted. But yeah, like you said, we all have those moments where something could happen. Hopefully you learn from them, right? Obviously, yeah, nobody's
yeah. I
perfect.
think it's good to be able to not go around offending people, obviously,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think at the same time you shouldn't constantly be
You bring up a great point, James, because that
reflecting on yourself.
my first thought when you say that is I think of a handful of people on YouTube who literally make it their jobs to offend people. I don't even want
Well,
to
I
go
think
through
the
all the
thing is, if
names.
you try and not offend people in the first place, or try and
Mhm.
be
Just be yourself, and
not passive, but just sort of not come out with things which are going to be
or hurtful
attention
to,
seeking,
or
essentially.
yeah, or hurtful to somebody else, or going after someone to say religion or yada yada yada, for a
Yeah,
purpose of
sure.
creating that anger. Like
Well, I
right
wouldn't
now,
do that anyway with someone who's a stranger, and I don't talk to people who I barely know, especially about anything like that anyway. So,
true, very
and
true.
I don't really do it on the show much. I think, for instance, with Mandela
Like to
Man,
say hello, real.
he would just kind of
Mhm.
introduce topics which I don't want to particularly go into. Like last week, he was just suggesting that the 100+ people now who've been,
Yeah,
perished in Hawaii are the result of some kind of, like Independence Day style weapon, which is just don't.
oh,
No, let's not start going laughing in this one. It's just
no, I'm not.
at that point, I just wanted to end the show because that is just complete idiocy on his part. I mean, the level of kind of it's like this American sort of, the election was stole in 2020. Like clearly it wasn't stole,
No, yeah.
like if anything, the Republicans were trying to steal it back, weren't they?
They were, yeah, because they actually got film of
But of
people
course,
going on.
everything is about projection. And with Trump,
Yeah.
he's so sort of now deteriorated as well, really, I would say.
And I'd say the scary thing is, James, you have some of these far right wing media groups like Newsmax, Fox, who promote his BS and who it's like a cult almost. I'll follow every word he
Well,
says.
I
It's
think the
so
worst
wild.
ones are the ones who pose as being more middle of the road, like
I agree.
Ben Shapiro and that
Yes.
the Daily Wire or whatever it's called. I mean, the people on that are just
Or even Tucker Carlson, who's such a hypocrite, who got caught talking about him behind his back on text, saying he was
Candace Owens as well. They're
yes,
all
yes,
just
yes, yeah.
grifters, basically. And
Yes,
like
sniper
this
artists.
week, we've had like Ben Shapiro and so forth, kind of extolling the virtues of this sort of guy singing this sort of.
That
We can
song,
put
yeah.
it on if you want, which is absolute shit, basically. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's not a good song. The
No.
lyrics are absolute shit. I mean, he
Mhm.
sounds like he's literally like had half of his brain removed. I mean, who wants to listen to crap like
Because
that?
they had that song, "Don't Try That in a Small Town," and now, they have this new guy. They're pushing these country music stars hardcore.
Yeah, it's just like
You could make a parody song probably better than that. It's like if I play guitar in the background, you just did parody lyrics. For sure, you could do it.
It's just all. I mean, he's been pushed by whoever. I don't fully see the amount of views and things he's got as being entirely real. To use Real's name in the chat, like. But regardless of that, that one hit he's got, I can't remember what it's called now, but anyway, the Northtown guys up in Shitsville.
Richmond and Shitsville.
It's just so much crap. Like when the lyric goes into, "I should be helping minors, and not just minors somewhere on an island." Like, what the? What, you mean like Donald Trump, who went to Epstein Island 7 times?
Wow, was it 7 times? Oh my goodness.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that means anything necessarily. I mean, he may have gone there purely because he was invited, just at
the buffet or something.
For instance, I think that Trump has long made it quite apparent that he doesn't mind wandering around beauty contests and just accidentally seeing underage girls naked. So, and that's accepted. That his followers are like, that's some good shit right there. But then,
the good thing you got to realize, James, about America, it's really 3. There's the right, the moderates, and the left wing. But the moderates are the highest voters in both those groups combined. So it depends where the moderates go. So as long as the moderates stay normal and that group of people vote for people that should be, you know what I mean? You don't have to worry as much, because I think he's become so segregated. His group he's got a hardcore following. He does. But I think the number has dwindled to probably a high number, but it's still low compared to overall. I don't see him winning.
Oh no, I know all this kind of stuff.
They say, James, they say on Fox News and Newsmax, they're like, he can run the presidency from prison, and they say that with a straight face. I'm like,
no, but of course they say it with a straight face because they're trying to convince people of something which is never going to happen.
That's when America has declined in democracy. If your president is in prison, what kind of country would that be?
No, I don't think you can jump to like immediately that democracy has declined. It's more that
in that scenario of
I think within arguably I would say within the kind of genetic pools that these people are, like that guy singing that song. I mean, I don't understand. Like, okay, who is this guy then? Is he supposed to be an alpha male then? But he looks like just a terrifying.
But James, he gave up a huge record deal worth millions, and that makes him
a terrifying collision of genetics. There, it's like. Yeah. I mean, my brother's got red hair and stuff, but he's not got like a beard, which is sort of going down to past his bottom of his neck.
People usually do that to cover like multiple chins or something. I don't know.
Oh no, I think he's just doing it because it's like, I'm kind of like living out there, man. Like there's a video of his, and it's got like that one video has got 20 million views or something, apparently. And then the other videos he's done have got like, I don't know, maybe 500,000, maybe some more than that. But if that, but. There's one, and I'll show it to you, where he's like sitting next to a car in the woods, but it's not like an old car from like say 1970s or even before that. It's like a newish car from the last 20 years, but just left. And it's like, this looks shit. And that's not like you're down on the hometown junkyard. You can't have a junkyard with a car that's like 20 years old.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I don't know. It just looks so stupid. I'll have to show you it, but it's what's the guy's name?
My junkyard. That's what.
Oh. Yeah, but just one car as well.
Yeah, I know. Where's the junkyard?
I watched it last night, but it was just it was beyond belief, honestly. I'll just have a look at it under the history. Must have. Oh no, I didn't look at it on here. I looked at it on the TV. What's it called? Guys uptown, up in Shitsville or something. Singer ginger beard.
Just for new country.
Singer with big ginger beard. That's it. Come up with bloody.
Oh yeah.
to come up with Tom Walker, Scottish singer, and also Rag and Bone Man now. Everybody's got a beard now, though. It's like a hipster thing, isn't it?
Yeah, they've ruined beards for a while. Because it used to be like you talk about the manly Viking type of, usually heavy metal bands had that, or but now
Well,
it's
if
just
anything, it looks
everywhere.
gay now, I would say.
Well, I'm not gonna go that far, but can you grow a thick beard, or because you always have a good clean shave? I admire your clean shave.
Me?
I have to shave every other. Yeah.
No, I think I found one called Jimmy Allen. He's had a song called Down Home. That sounds good.
Yeah, because
Down
I
Home.
gotta shave like every other day because it's just my face is too sensitive.
Okay, anybody in the chat, what is the name of this complete douche?
All right, I'll see if I can find it. It's probably on some right wing. Let me look at Fox News and they'll probably show it.
No, it's everywhere now. It's not just on Fox News.
Well, this is where I go to see what the right wing is thinking. You're gonna go to their hubs. It's funny, they talk more about Joe Biden than the Democrats do. It's every other word is Joe Biden or fucking Trump. All right, where is
Well, please let's not go there now.
it? Or Hunter Biden, his laptop. It's a stupid laptop.
I mean, obviously, I don't know even why you would look at Fox News. So,
Oh, it's out of parody. It's just fake. It's fake news. It's like faux news, not even real news.
yeah, but
Well,
even
it's the
those,
typical rule of from The Godfather: keep your friends close and your enemies close. I got to know what these people are thinking. What they're doing. Where is this country star?
yeah, but you're not American. You're Canadian.
Yeah, that's true. They have a lot of influence. Still bleeds over here. Oh, here he is. Okay, Rich Men North of Richmond. That's just a song.
Oh, okay.
His name is Oliver Anthony.
I'm putting the wrong look in.
Man, yeah, you're right about that. I didn't notice it until really right. His hair is blonde, but his beard is red. How is that possible?
Well, no, that's similar. He's got very similar
No.
looks to my brother, actually, but not.
Can you have blonde hair and red beard? Really?
It's not blonde hair. It's what you call sort of like reddish blonde.
It looks just blonde to me.
It's just been in the sun a lot. But then, yeah, he would look much better without the beard to me. Rich men of Shitsville, of Down Home. Rich man living in a poor man's house. That's already made. That is a song by Bon Jovi. So he's stolen a Bon Jovi song.
Right there.
What's it called again? Rich men of North.
Oh, I already.
Johnny?
I'm gonna right here.
Rich men north of rich ass.
Okay, now I gotta find it again.
I'll find it now. Don't
Oh,
worry.
here, yeah. Richmond of North. Richmond north of Richmond. Fuck that guy. Richmond north of Richmond.
No, but if you'd actually look at some of his other videos, I don't want to put that one on. Because the thing with that one is it's been promoted not through his channel, it's through this channel called Radio WV, which is obviously some kind of probably a good way of promoting things. I don't know exactly what Radio WV is. Let's just have a look. It's real music, real people, real culture. real culture. Even spelt wrong. I mean, and it's basically got as the main cover pic on the channel, it's got somebody singing whilst in a barber's with beard oil and all that kind of stuff. And then they've always got yeah, boy, just bring in that whiskey. Yeah. I like me some of those potato chips, please. Potatoes, fried potatoes. I'm referencing obviously the film Sling Blade, which you should watch if you've never seen it. If you've not seen it, I can't believe that you've not seen it.
Sorry.
Billy Bob Thornton. So, you give me some of them fried potato chips. It's just this celebration, but it's like a fake celebration of, this kind of old time culture, which is, like the blue collar ethic or something. But he's making out like that he's some kind of guy who's been I've been working down those mines for 30 goddamn years. I can't sing anymore because I've got throat cancer.
Oh my god,
That in itself is a virtue
terrible.
based on, yeah, precisely. It's like, what is the virtue in somebody being
Oh my god.
worked to death, essentially, which is what people used to be.
Mm.
Like, basically now he's like, I've been having to sit in that chair, giving people cash, you know, for their change for buying Hershey bars in the garage. I've been working 10 hours a day on my ass.
On my ass.
Drinking bourbon. It's like, you know, what exactly is his job? Seriously. And he's making out that he's some kind of, if he's like, for instance, if he's working in engineering or something, that beard, it would probably end like a scene from The Machinist with Christian Bale, where someone's arm goes, you know, cut off. And then it's like, sorry, I didn't mean that to happen with your arm. Hey, man, it's okay. We're all blue collar workers here. But you did make my arm get chopped off, you motherfucker. You know, I mean, it is dangerous. Like, if somebody's working, like, seriously, this guy is just bullshit. And how old is he? He's probably about 30 or something, I imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine that.
He's hard to tell because of the beard.
Yeah.
But I don't have any, I mean, I honestly don't want to be too horrible towards him, but nobody would claim that this is genuinely a good song. It's, oh, here we go. It's actually on that same channel.
Oh my god.
And it's got 2.6 million views. This one is so funny, especially the way he's sitting and everything. It's not the same as, like, you know, the other one. He looks like, and it's like he's in a burst of blood vessel any moment with his face, you know, burning red.
That's the thumbnail, I know.
But that's like, okay, you've got like red hair, basically. You're a honey blonde or whatever you want to call it, like you said. But you've got red hair. Have you heard of a thing called skin lotion? Like, you know,
he puts the lotion in the
Factor 30. Just put it on, then rub it in.
Factor 30, yeah.
Don't go standing in hot sun out in Virginia or north of Richmond or wherever the shit you live. Like, to make out that you're working some really hard job. Like, I've been out there all day chopping down trees. No, you've not. You've just been writing shit songs in the basement.
Yeah.
Whilst masturbating.
Unless you're a coal miner.
No, masturbating and singing is the
and
best.
singing at the same time. That's his trick, yeah.
Sorry, I went way too far just then.
Well, I don't think you went far enough, but okay.
Yeah, I think, like, hello, Real. How are you doing there? Who are you? And can I ask, what are you? Are you actually
That's a
Facebooker?
A combat character.
Are you interested in coming on the videos? I'll ask that.
Well, that'd be amazing. I remember back in the day when I used to watch your show before I came on, when you had some random guests here and there. It was amazing. Some of the characters.
Do you remember? Did you ever watch it when we used to have Mark on? Mark with a C.
I did. Yes, I did watch it. And yes, the running joke of you always him being kind of slow at talking and everyone just wanting him to hurry the fuck up. You know,
no, it was more. A lot of it was stemming from.
I'm sure there's
interaction. Josh being a bit rude at times.
That's it.
You know, I mean, he was a bit offensive towards some people, but you know, he didn't seem to seem to be particularly something he was aware of necessarily, or he was aware of it and it wasn't important to him. I think, like, you know, some people can get very easily offended though. So I was in touch with Mark again recently though,
cool,
which was okay, but you know. I have been in touch with other people who should come on, but it's just a question of, especially when people are not in the UK, etc. You know, like, it's difficult to find the right times. So.
Yeah, I agree.
And someone said, like, when I was on videos with them, that I was talking like 80% of the time, but that was not my intention. It was just that.
No, you're the host. You move the show along.
Maybe the other person was just quieter, but honestly, it was not my intention. So, you know. Okay, we'll just put this song up now. You'll enjoy it, I imagine. This is the one with the car in it.
Okay.
And then after this, you can just talk about any other things from the video game towards the end if you want.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
But then after that, we'll just leave it at like, an hour or so. So
yeah.
I don't want to do like an immensely long video at this time of the day, especially.
You get 3 for 2 on coloured emulsion, including paint.
I mean,
and 4 for 3
if there were more people on, possibly.
Yeah, I tried. Oh, come on.
I've been picking on the same back porch.
Oh my god, this is just what he does all day.
The boy with the dream. My daddy had a cab-dated horse down in the field running backer and beans. Preacher talk about heaven, son, it sure sounds nice. At least I can tell them that I had me a slice. Nobody singing songs about Virginia.
Come on.
The sweet Virginia's always a singing to me.
It's just the car, though. Like, why is that there? Also, at what point did someone say, you look good like that with your legs crossed?
Yeah, do that for the video.
In like quite sort of skinny jeans.
Mm.
It's just, there's no tune or anything. It's just.
And I can bet you this melody is probably a reused old melody.
What melody, though?
Well, what he's playing, I'm pretty sure that's probably like an old.
It's just like. They keep going on about he's an old soul and all this shit. Like, okay, so he's too old to be able to cut those.
The strings.
Why are they flying out that far?
Yeah, I know.
It looks
That's
ridiculous.
That's a very hipster thing.
Just everything about it is so kind of
Amateur.
gotta
He's
get
got like a
down
big.
in
Look at the
there.
bug on his arm. There was a huge bug on his arm, on his right or left arm or right. I don't know if it's gone now. It was hilarious.
Where the green grass grows, on down in the hill, where the folks on horseback rode. Lordy, I tell the youngins,
Oh,
when I grow old, what the old told me.
the bug is still there.
They don't ever sing songs about Virginia, but Virginia, she's always
huge, the bug.
singing to me.
I can't even see any books.
Yeah, I'm good with minor details. It's on his other arm.
Songs about Virginia,
See right there?
Oh, there you mean?
she's
Yeah.
always
It was there the whole video.
Gotta get closer.
Increase that detail to the maximum. Get that 4K going. It's a moth. He's trying to be Lynchian. That's what he's trying to do.
When I grow,
He's trying to be a frog moth.
son, they don't.
It might be just something like I think.
No, I
it's
saw it
actually-
moving. Trust me, it's thick and it was
Oh.
moving. It was lower
You're
before and it went
joking.
up. No, it's a bug. It's like a beetle or something.
It looks like he's constantly like in a state of moderate inebriation because of the redness of his face and everything. It's
Yeah,
just-
yeah, I'm pretty sure he done
The voice and everything. It's like you can only get that kind of raspy
Shandy Bass.
from drinking like some whiskey or something. It's just
Yeah,
it's all fake because it's like it's not like he's been working down the coal mine, is it?
you should
In
do a parody.
Virginia.
You should do a 1 minute short parody of this video, James. I think it'd be a big hit. Actually, just a 1 minute short
And
parody.
that's it. And me just sitting on a chair out
Yes.
back, like,
Oh, please, James. Please.
if people
please.
did that, I mean, sorry, if I did that I'd probably get like actual complaints from the neighbors saying, "Can you please stop him from going out and singing?"
Well, you would have
Because,
to. Well, you would do James mime it, right? Do the Italian style, and then it's dub it after in your room, and then you could be more playful. You
Oh,
when you're
okay.
dubbing it. Just
Yeah,
with
do
James.
it in the room.
It'll
Do
be
it inside.
great.
I don't
1
have,
minute
like-
short.
This
It's a
reminds
bit-
me actually a little bit of like, do you know Colleen Ballinger, who did Miranda Sings?
Oh,
Oh, you
it
don't
sounds
know-
familiar. The names.
Was
sound
she-
familiar.
she did like this kind of apology song for about a lot of things.
Yes,
She sang
yes,
it on a
yes.
banjo.
On the banjo, yeah.
She says, my lawyers have said to me, you can't come out and do a song, but they didn't say anything about singing. And then H3H3 and other people like that have
Yeah,
looked at it, and it's like, I mean, the amount of coverage it gets is not really warranted, but
it's ridiculous.
I mean, she definitely had a weird relationship with fans, which was going overboard in terms of kind of just improper sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Chats with, you know, youngsters online and things. I'm not saying that she's like genuinely a criminal or whatever, but I think it's definitely sort of, well, she's a form of criminal, really. I mean, her brother was definitely involved, but I don't think it was necessarily to like the Dan Schneider kind of level of like from Nickelodeon, who did, you know, he was like, everybody send in pictures of their feet,
my God,
stuff like that. I mean,
wow.
yeah, you only have to watch some of those shows that they did with the Ariana Grande when she was younger and stuff. It's like,
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
it's just weird.
hmm
I mean, it's all a bit pervy, you know, and he.
And the new thing, James,
Wasn't-
in Hollywood, you know, all these like reality TV shows. Apparently, the producers behind the scenes of all they record because they're constantly recording stuff. They basically blackmail a lot of these people behind the scenes. And it's all coming out now that the producers have so much footage of them. It's like sexploitation or something, and it's ridiculous to know all these shows.
Well, I mean,
have-
he was sacked from Nickelodeon and everything like that. But on the other hand, yeah, I think more just sort of like let go or whatever. But
Mhm.
for instance, someone like Jeanette McCurdy, who was there on those shows with Ariana Grande, it was iCarly or something, I think.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Like, you know who she is, Jeanette McCurdy, right? She's
Yep.
written a book saying that's called "I'm Glad My Mother Is Dead" or something
Oh
like
my
that.
goodness,
And
for real? Holy
that was
cow.
actually a New York Times bestseller, and it sold very well in this country. Even you know,
Wow.
people know who she is, and her mother basically would make her go in the shower, inspect her, you know,
that's-
be
wow.
way too hands-on and abusive, basically, and you know, say you're eating too much of this, that, and the other because you know we needed to keep you slim for the. But when you're a child, imagine being treated like that by your own mother as well.
Yeah, that's
And
terrible.
they go on these shows, and then she developed eating disorders as a result of that, I imagine, because she would be very young and sort of not treated well by a mother. Like, you know, the typical idea of sort of putting them in something and then the parents reap the rewards, really, because they're getting the money, aren't they? And, yeah, so it's terrible, really, but I think it's not unusual. But obviously, her mother treated her really badly, so
Yeah,
that's a bad thing. Clearly, I mean,
for sure. Yeah.
a similar thing happened in many ways back with the two Corys and Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. Like they were,
Yes. Yeah.
I think they were both mishandled, but in different ways, and then it just
Very much so. Yeah.
it never resolved because almost in a way Hollywood almost propped it up by making a show like the two Corys, and then they're kind of like, okay, you act out these roles.
Mhm.
Because in that I saw like how they had Corey Feldman as like he's got OCD, he's got his career like on the he's on the
Fruits or
ball.
whatever. Yeah.
He's doing it's like Corey Feldman's got his career going and like doing what? Making absolutely abysmal music. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would claim that Corey Feldman had a great career beyond, Dream a Little Dream and then they painted Corey Haim as being like, he's a slob.
Oh wait, Corey Feldman. Oh, he did like the Burbs. He did obviously Ninja Turtles voiceover. Right?
Yeah, but
That
you're
one?
going back. Yeah, but you're going back to like 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
30 plus years. Like I'm
But
talking
he's still
about now.
he's still I know, but he's still got a following and people discover he's still, believe it or not, pretty big and well known in a lower sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, in the show, the two chorus they had like, he's like he's got it going. He's weird with his wife, Corey Feldman, and in the show they kind of went, it's the other Corey Haim. He's a slob, and they had this shot of him like drinking beer from a can and then falling backwards on a bed or sofa, going like, burping.
Oh my God!
It was like, this is just so
demeaning and like why
dramatized and set up. Like,
yeah.
there's no real knowing of how, exactly what happened in terms of, but people know, and they know the abuser who apparently
yeah.
was best friends with Corey Feldman, so called, and it happened on the set of The Lost Boys or Lucas.
Are you talking about like the dark whispers of Charlie Sheen, or
No, it wasn't Charlie Sheen
okay,
necessarily. It was another guy.
okay,
I don't think Charlie Sheen was interested in doing that kind of thing at that age, but I don't know. I can't really speak about anything to do with Charlie Sheen from what I know, but he seems definitely pretty out there, but
compared to his brother, like Emilio, like if you compare them, like how different, like day and night, like as far as lifestyle goes.
Yeah, he's just like, he's definitely someone damaged by whatever,
I think just excess, like he was the 80s excess,
Yeah, and I mean they, like with his wife, she found things on a laptop of his which was just,
questionable and
like young boys and stuff like this. But if you think he's looking at young boys or anything, then maybe he's bisexual, firstly, but he may have been abused himself. It's not unthinkable, is it? And the same thing is true of Corey Haim. He was definitely abused by somebody. But the trouble was that Corey Feldman actually knew this person and then didn't do anything about it. But Corey Feldman came from a very abused position himself within his own family. So whether it was sexual or not, it was abusive. So it's just way too much insanity.
It's sad, but my heart goes out to like any child actor in Hollywood, like even in the present, just to get through the beast of it, because there's a lot of creeps out there, like these producers who just have their own whatever they want to do,
Yeah, I think it's probably not as bad as it used to be, for sure, in Hollywood, but and there's lots of good people, of course, who are completely unabusive, or who are completely fine and all this kind of thing, and work in that industry for the right reasons. It's just, especially in the past, I think there were people who were in it for the wrong reasons. People like Harvey Weinstein, obviously,
very much so.
He was definitely a abuser. So.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's not massively different from someone like Donald Trump either.
No.
Who's a so-called businessman who like he basically would be attending these beauty contests and stuff, and then he says, I can just walk in anywhere I want and all that, and they'd be youngsters in their 60s.
He even had his daughter too hosting it when she was young too.
Well, yeah, I mean, Trump is just a very strange person as a whole. I mean, he doesn't strike you as, in any sense, like a manly man, does he? He's very prissy almost.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, well, he's lived such a safe life. Like everything, he's never went a day without being hungry. He's like everything's been given to him on a silver platter. Like
he would have been done. He would have been done better if he might have, varied his diet a bit. But,
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it's just, there's some people who are like, well, I kind of follow the line of people should be able to, they should have a baby, if they're pregnant. I don't believe in abortions and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking, in what way does this relate to politics genuinely? I don't understand how that is a political thing in America.
Yeah, because I agree.
Surely a woman should have the right to be able to do whatever she wants in terms of her pregnancy or her body and all that, as they say.
Yeah, yeah.
Secondly, why should men be involved in that? Why do men
in any way have the say in it? Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I know.
In terms of, I understand why some women, for instance, might think this idea that, all life is valuable. And I agree with that. It is true, but I don't think it necessarily means that the way people live their lives these days, especially, you've got to take into account that, haven't you? You know, it's
Well, Republicans used to be all about freedom and stuff, and now it seems like they want to control everything people do. It's ridiculous.
yeah. Why would they want people to have children who may have been, say, somebody was raped or abused or whatever, and then that person is pregnant,
Mhm.
and then the woman or girl even,
Mhm. Yeah,
and like in some of the worst educated states, you know, you have children giving birth to children, for instance.
Mhm.
Like, what kind of life are they going to have? And so why exactly what is in it for the Republicans? Basically, more uneducated, stupid people who potentially could vote Republican. I don't know. It's
yeah, I
just
don't get it. Just the idea of the choice to the individual, like why they want to decide it. That freaks me out. Like, the Republicans
well,
want
I
to
mean, I
decide.
think people should have choice themselves, obviously, but it's a
Mhm.
case of they should have choice to decide, not the choice
Yeah.
to basically have the baby. That's not a choice. That's just making you have it. Like, there are some people who absolutely shouldn't have babies, full stop. You know, I mean, I think people, if we're going to go forward in any way productive, like, there are many people, in fact, who should have like one child and that's it, you know, or less,
Mhm.
because like, what exactly is so great about having children that you can't look after, for instance? You know, it's just
Well, that's a different debate. To me, it's just more like you were saying. The medical again, it's up to the individual, the woman, to decide. It's her choice. That's why I just leave it at that. It's her decision.
no. But I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of these kind of Republican types and people
Yeah.
like that, especially people like Ben Shapiro,
Mhm.
another guy on the Daily Wire whose name I forgot, who's got a massive beard.
Walsh, something Walsh.
Yeah, he, like, if you saw a picture of him without a beard, he looks ridiculous. But I think he's got 6 children, and it's like, why?
Wow.
Why do you need 6 children?
That Chowder, Louder, Crowder, whatever his name is, that guy's always around too with his.
It's like, you think, I suppose they're always about owning the libs, and now they can own their children. Or it's like, I wouldn't. If somebody said to me, "You can have 6 children," I'd say, "No, it's all right, thanks."
But then the fear tactics again. I go to Fox News because it's like a new. They literally had an opening the other day where the liberals are coming to get your children. They were so blatant and so straight faced when they said it. I'm like, what? Who's coming to
While
get
I
these
eat,
children?
while I eat them.
Like
Yeah, but it's all
they
like fear
demonetize
mongering
them.
at the moment. Like,
Yes, yeah.
with Trump at the moment, he's coming out with these messages which are partly written for him by that guy who's bald, the Nazi Jew guy.
Yeah, and being gone through lawyers to make sure nothing's said, but he throws in words, his own little tangent.
Well,
You can tell
I
he's
don't know
struggling.
about going through lawyers. I think the thing is, though,
Or his shoddy lawyer,
he's making comments which are sometimes, saying America's going to hell and all this, but we've got to bring it back. It's like,
Yeah.
so you're saying that it's now in hell, and within 4 years you can make it not hell.
Yeah. If anything,
Like,
he's the one that brought it to that point.
You didn't make it any better over your 4 years,
No.
unless some Republicans want to say, oh well, it was better because we
They
did
made
this,
more
that, and
money
the other.
because they had
But they
tax breaks. It was ridiculous.
well, they're very, very rich.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about average people out there. The only reason they thought it was better is because they like having someone who's basically normalizes being malicious and sort of looking down on people who maybe are different to you. A lot of that, they definitely like that. They like also they like Trump's childishness.
Yeah, and he
How
opened
he's-
Pandora's box because now you got all these commentators. They're not even reporters. Everyone thinks they're a version of him, so they just give their opinion. Everything's opinionated. It's not like you're watching the news anymore. It's ridiculous. There's no reporters, no real anchormen anymore, anchor women.
Yeah, it's like in private, when he was in his sort of private jet, or there was one incident where someone was going over New York with him in a helicopter before he was elected president and things. And he would basically race bait, as he's going over. And especially if there were any racers in the actual place with him, he would like to be inflammatory about, say, black people or Jewish people, and just to see their reaction, because he knows that they can't react pretty much because of who he is. Because before he was a politician, so-called, he was, just this famous kind of so-called billionaire.
He was a Democrat who went to Hillary Clinton's wedding. He went to
We now know that
Trump's
he was
wedding.
never a billionaire, though.
Yeah, I know he's cash poor.
Well, he wasn't. I don't think he was ever truly a real Democrat. He just,
Wasn't
he
that the
just
thing?
donated funds to be. He
Oh.
wanted to be a Democrat.
He went to Hillary
But
Clinton's
I
wedding.
imagine they rejected him. So
Yeah, or he invited Hillary Clinton to his wedding. It's hilarious.
no, it's not hilarious. It's kind of pathetic. I mean,
Pathetic, yeah. Well, she's
I mean,
loving it
he is-
because the
he
whole
is-
lock her
he is
up is come back to bite him in the ass. He locked
Trump
him
is
up.
it's like just a sort of a shadow of his former self now, and that's making
Yeah.
people just freak out. Republicans, because they can see it, but they are in denial. They want him
Or
to
they're
be.
too far, James. I think they're too dug into that hole. They're too deep. They're in too deep.
Possibly, but I don't think anyone's completely oblivious. I think it's a case of like almost wanting to go back to 2016 or,
Yeah.
before that even. That when he always mentions these sort of weird things, like when I came down the elevator, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
I know. Which the
When he
Simpsons
came- that in itself is
predicted.
just like,
Yeah.
that sounds like someone crazy talking, doesn't it? I don't
Yeah, he
mean to be
thinks,
horrible, but
he thinks he's malevolent. Like the day I walked, that was it. History was made.
no, he didn't walk. He was basically, but it's
Oh yeah, I know.
it's like basically that's probably an ideal situation for him because he's coming down in the sort of so-called dramatic moment, but he doesn't have to do any of the legwork. That's the thing with
Yeah.
Trump. He never does anything. He just
No. Point.
he's on the sidelines waiting 3 hours whilst people smash up the Capitol. And then
He was
a
watching
woman got shot inside it.
it. I know.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's never mentioned much, is it? Let's face it. It's not
No,
really.
you would think that'd be part of the charges against him or
But
something,
it's-
causing a death or
Well,
something.
it is, but I think at the same time they wouldn't specifically go into like necessarily every little detail in terms of who was killed because he didn't cause it like directly, did he? He caused it indirectly, and that is true, but they can't even say that in
No.
courts of law as such, as Mr. C says, because
Yeah.
it just goes around and around and causes too much. But yeah, he did cause it. He's responsible, amongst others. Anyone else who propped him up, and so people like Ivanka, that Marjorie Taylor Greene, people like that.
Yeah, who wants to be?
I don't know.
the
Actually, she was ringing in saying he needs to do something. To be honest, so if it was too long for her or too sort of lacking in action for her, then you think,
Yeah.
well, something has gone wrong here. I mean, and then people say, oh, these people were only protesting or something. So when you're only protesting, you start climbing up walls and then breaking in doors and stuff.
I
I don't
know.
think so.
No,
That's not
yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe a lot of them were protesting,
Mhm.
but it's very easy to basically provoke people into doing things that they wouldn't do otherwise
There's hours of just
in
things,
that kind of
yes.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can remember when it was happening. And I was just
Yeah.
thinking, like, why can nobody just step in and say, come on, go back now? This has just gone too far. And you would have stopped people getting in there instead.
Yes.
And then they're like, oh my God, those it's definitely undercover feds. Those are not MAGA. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, they are. They're MAGA.
They're all I know.
This is reality for you, okay?
Half of them have gone to jail. Yeah.
They're idiots.
Mhm.
I mean, for me, okay, I might not agree with someone's politics, etc., but I'm not going to go smash into a massive like government building like
No.
the Capitol.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, especially one that looks as impressive as that. It's like
It's supposed to be the country they love. It's like
it's
what do you
crazy.
do?
It doesn't make any sense. It's like
Mm.
it's like whoever the politicians are in there and stuff, and whether you agree or disagree with them, surely when you're at school and things, did someone not tell you like you shouldn't go into a building and then just start like sitting down at desks and acting like you own the place? I mean,
Yeah. Exactly.
it's,
I know.
it's like literally just the level of childishness is beyond belief,
Yes.
and it really does make you wonder sometimes when you see that kind of stuff. Really, about America specifically,
Yeah. Now the big thing is he's skipping the big debate, but he's going to do a one-on-one with Tucker Carlson, the same Tucker Carlson who talks shit about him in a private text message.
Is
So
that
that's
true?
yeah, that's coming up. That's the big news that he's skipping the Republican debate to do a one-on-one. He's going to try to sift ratings at the same time.
But that doesn't make any sense. It's like if Tucker Carlson has just been basically ceremoniously sacked,
Yeah.
and it's now got half the ratings it used to have at Fox because of all this.
Mhm.
I mean, people did like watching Tucker Carlson, right? Yeah, so people are going to watch him talk to Trump. But on the other hand, it's just going to end up being a softball, crappy interview that nobody
Echo
cares
chamber.
about, really.
Yeah.
If it's not on Fox News, it's never going to get the same views,
Or
whatever
promotion,
platform. If it's on like TuckerCarlson.com or
Twitter
you know,
or something, right? Or,
Troth Central, as
yeah.
Trump called it, it's like I don't know if his teeth were falling out or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's just anyway. And I'm not just about making fun of Trump because it's a bigger issue, isn't it? As you're saying,
Very
like,
much so. Yeah.
why would people go all of a sudden to watch these things on? Is it going to be on
I think Twitter on his Twitter feed.
Newsmax or something like that? Or
I could see them probably playing that Newsmax for sure.
I don't know, but it's just like Trump knows that Tucker Carlson has made fun of him and doesn't even like him. Basically,
I know.
I mean, neither does Hannity.
No, I know.
I mean, it's not that they don't like him as a person, but as a politician, they like him because he creates this kind of
Content or something for
Well,
them. Yeah.
it's like dizzying effect that just makes people go crazy, basically.
Hmm.
And but I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it was the case in 2016. Then after COVID and all that kind of thing, it's just gone. Because people just, in the end, really, even if they're in denial, they just saw him for the kind of charlatan that he is. You know, like injecting. How about we inject it? You know, I can't imagine that Trump went home and started injecting disinfectant into his,
God.
anus or something.
Just put it in my bowl.
It's like, what the hell? Is he not slept for like 3 days or something?
I don't think he sleeps over that guy.
Hey, man. How about we just. Oh,
Yeah.
fucking hell. I do think he sleeps, but I think he has a sleeping pill. Then he has a pill that he takes when he gets up.
Mhm.
He's very reliant on
These pills or something. Yeah.
chemical kind of stimulants
Yeah.
to some degree anyway. I think not necessarily all the time, but the rest of the time he's downing like
Diet Pepsi or Coke or something constantly.
yeah. So I mean, I think Trump is just he's just a kind of a shadow puppet in a way, though, isn't he? For the whole.
Yeah, he represents
It's like a game for these people. And what Jamie always said, like that, politicians, etc., or whoever, turning, knowingly or not, like turning politics into like a game, basically, like a sport. I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
which is not. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
I
it certainly
agree, though.
shouldn't be, really, for the most part, should it?
No.
It's not like all about just sort of cheering some on and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
But that's why sport is different. We have sport, like go and watch football.
Mm.
Like here we have people are into the women's
That's soccer.
World Cup final, all that kind of
Yeah.
thing. I think Volta has been watching that a lot lately. That's why I can't get through to him. But
Mhm.
he's actually got watching it in his home cinema. So,
Yeah.
with his one friend, Seth.
Is that who the mystery friend is? I want to know more.
No,
about
he's
this.
just a guy from next door
Oh, okay.
who does all of his, kind of sets up his home cinema. And
Is he real or is it like Wilfred where he's like?
no, he's got a real friend, but he's actually got a home IMAX.
Wow,
So
that's impressive.
he has to
That's why he
keep it
doesn't go to the
maintained.
theater. That makes sense.
You have to have water cooled, lenses and things like that. Water cooled bulbs in it.
Yeah.
One time, one of them blew up, and it was pretty not a good day, obviously, for Voltaire. But
Yeah.
that was when they were watching that film that you said that came out in 1989 or something about
Something boiled, something blue.
blue jeans and hot pants.
In all beds.
There's a massive influence on Lynch, obviously.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, we'll leave it there for today, and thank you for joining me, Johnny, and everyone in the chat, of course. But maybe we'll be back
Yeah, if you feel like it, I'll jump on.
tomorrow or maybe on Monday, more likely.
Okay.
Good. So thank you for joining me again, and I
No
wish
problem.
you
Thank
well.
you for having me. You too. Have a great one.
All right. Well, thanks again, and we'll talk soon, Johnny. Okay.
Okay. Bye. Yeah. Ciao, everyone.
Bye to everyone, and see you in the trees. See you soon.